Hiya. So this is a continuation of my app development process for an iOS app for emotion tracking. So before I continue any further, last time I kind of stopped after I tried to debug some header view and the compositional layout in UIKit for the app. But before I go on any further, I want to create a project estimate for the amount of work that I still need to get done for the different components that I still want to finish. So I'm just going to kind of write some notes down and brainstorm a bit over what I still need to accomplish and how long I think it will need to take. I want to give myself a deadline of about a few days to work on it, which is a little bit ambitious for what I'm about to kind of write down for what I still want to accomplish. But hopefully if I kind of stick to my kind of plan, then I'll be able to complete it on time. So the first thing that I want to do is so I need to add back my emotion discovery screen. And this is a screen where I'm using an LLM to present people with a list of emotions, but they can also select from a list of filters to help narrow down those emotions so they can choose from that. So I want to add back the emotion discovery screen, but this will have a few subparts to it. So one is that I need to kind of complete the layout. I'll just try to do it this way, so complete layout. I need to finish integrating the LLM. I'm also designing a screen with so article suggestions. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is to add a chart screen. And this screen is to show people how their emotions are changing over time. So it's going to be like kind of a line maybe that kind of goes up and down depending on which emotions you log during the day and over a period of time. So it shows you, let's say, over a week or a month how you've been feeling. So I'm going to be using Swift UI for this, for creating the chart. The third thing I want to do is to make sure my app uses dynamic type. And this is kind of a requirement that I had in mind from the beginning, that I want to just have a few accessibility basics present in the app, like dynamic type and adaptability for different screen sizes. Like maybe I should add that as well. Adaptability to adaptability for different screen classes. Yeah. I also want to monetize the app, so I'm gonna add a screen where I kind of present users with an option to subscribe. So I'm just gonna have a screen for subscription. And this is potentially going to have a backend for it, which, yeah. Um, unless I use the Apple SDK for integrating payments, which I wanted to avoid because I didn't want to kind of sacrifice 30% of the potential revenue from the app. So I wanted to set up my own kind of subscription. Yeah, is there anything else that I need to add? Well, so I need to kind of like integrate my new fonts in the app because I have some fonts that I researched and want to include. And I want to make sure that it works with dynamic type. Yeah, so to recap, we have the adding back the emotion discovery screen that includes completing the layout, integrating the LLM, designing the screen with article suggestions. The second part involves adding the chart screen using SwiftUI. The third is making sure my app uses dynamic type. 4, I want it to be adaptable for different screen classes. 5, I want a screen for subscriptions. And 6, I want to integrate my new fonts in the app. Okay, so I'm gonna try to kind of develop an estimate for this. Starting with the first one, I think keeping in mind that I don't want to spend more than, let's say, 3 days working on the app, because I already have like a bunch of it complete already, and there's just a few things that I need to still add. So I'm just gonna have like a, let's say, kind of deadline. So if I finish in 3 days, today's Friday and it's already 5:30 p.m. So if I start working on it today, then let's say I can like want to finish by, let's say I don't work on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. I really should be done with all of this. So I'm gonna put down Wednesday, 25th of June, 2025, 5:30 p.m. Yeah. Okay. And basically, I think like a good amount of time to kind of a schedule to stick through would be basically on the days that I'm working on this from Monday, like to have like a 9 a.m. start and probably finish around 8 p.m. Just so I can give myself kind of more time to work on it and, you know, fix things as they come up. So that gives me about 3 and 5, 8, 3, 11 hours, right? A day. Is that right? So 9 a.m. Yep. 8 p.m. 3 hours. So just pull these. Hold on, let me just fix my phone because I'm charging and recording at the same time. Yeah, I'll just pause while I fix my phone for a second. Hi. Yeah. So I'm back, and yeah. So I'm just gonna pause one more time because I want to check that my recording is actually working for my voice. Okay, we're good. Yeah, so so starting with the emotion discovery screen, I need to complete the layout. I think I should it should take about 2 hours. I already have an LLM set up in the app, but I want to add error handling. So I think this will take a bit more time, maybe 4 hours. Designing the screen with the article suggestions. Maybe I should change this word to coding screen with article suggestions. So, I mean, that shouldn't take more than 4 hours. I do need to design it as well. I have something basic kind of in Figma, an idea of what I want. So I think I'll just use that. Add a chart screen using SwiftUI. So for this, it won't just be the actual UI component, but I also need to kind of think through how my data is going to be set up in the app so that I can actually include it in a SwiftUI chart. But I also might need to do a bit of research around about how charts work in SwiftUI because I haven't used them before. So I might spend let's say 30 minutes just reading about them, and let's say for the data and the UI. Let's say just because I haven't done it before, I might just put 5 hours. Okay, make sure app uses dynamic type. So this is going to involve some changes to the app, how my fonts are set up. I think this should, for testing and also rewriting the parts of the code that need to use dynamic type. I want, probably this should take me, maybe 3 hours. Adaptability for different screen classes. I mean, that's something that should be integrated with as I'm building the app. I am using Storyboard, so this should make it easier. But just for testing and making sure that it works well, I'm just gonna put 2 hours. For my subscription backend. Before I continue, actually, there's one more thing that I wanted to include, which is the Firebase analytics. And I just want to kind of add some analytics to the app to get some data about where users are clicking on the screen. I don't necessarily want any personal information. It's more tracking what tabs people are clicking on, maybe in what sequence, just so I kind of get a sense of the usage, what's more popular, what people what they focus on more. So this should take me about, to set up the analytics in Google and to write the analytics code and to test it, probably about, let's say, 4 hours. Right. So I mentioned that I wanted to spend 3 days on this, so I have, let's say, 33 hours. Let's see how much I have in total so far. So I have 2 hours for the layout. That's 6, 10, let's say even 16, 19 hours, 21 hours. Oh, I'm not finished with these. Screen for subscription. Okay. So that's 21 hours, right? So the screen for a subscription with the backend. I think this should take maybe around 6 hours, just because I'm doing like a kind of custom subscription. Integrating new fonts, let's say 2 hours and 5 days. Okay, so 21 and 6, that's 27, 28, 29. 29 and 4 is 33. Wow, okay, that's like perfect if I can actually stick to the schedule. So total is okay, so the goal is kind of to have an app that I can actually submit like as a build, which I can then share with a few people I know as a test flight, kind of get some feedback first, maybe make some alterations later before I actually publish it on the App Store. So I should say to complete emotion tracking. Okay, this is good. So, yeah, so I'm gonna try to stick to this like as well as I can. So I think the best thing is just to start right now. So, apologies. Yeah. So let me just maybe close these. Okay. Right, so 2 hours to finish the layout for the screen with the emotions that are suggested by the large language model. Okay, so 2 hours, let's see how much we can get done. So that screening for the emotions is called the Emotion Explorer View Controller. Right? Emotions Explorer. I actually committed this code to a different branch. I'm just gonna pause, figure out what's going on, and then come back. Hi again. Yeah. So I didn't want to like pause for too long, just because I do want to like show what I'm working on. So yeah. So last time I was fixing like an issue with the header, which I was trying to add some padding, I think, to the top, which didn't really work. So I just kind of said I'll leave it there and then maybe to fix it later. But what I'm trying to do now is recover a part of my code which I had before, which is no longer. like I don't have the files in this current branch that I'm working on. So what I did was I committed the files for that screen on a different branch, and then started working on another branch called dev. And last night, while I was working on this, I unstaged some of the files which I deleted, which are here. But because one of them is empty, I'm not sure exactly what happened. I'm gonna just redelete the files and go back to that branch, commit the changes that I have so far, and then go back to the branch that contains the new screen and see where, like, how I can re-include those files. Right. So I'm just gonna start deleting some of the files. Mind you, I already have these files committed, so don't worry that I'm not going to lose any of this code. Again, these are just files which I had removed, committed on a different branch, then undeleted them last night, but I shouldn't have done that, so I'm just going to remove them right now. Okay, I paused because my mic stopped, and my microphone keeps kind of disconnecting for some reason. I just paused to reset it. Okay. So. I don't need any of these files right now. I'm just going to delete them. Let me just try to rebuild, see if everything works fine. Oh, I don't need this file either because I'm using a storyboard for my tabs, for my tab bar. Filters. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just gonna run the app so I can make sure that, it looks good. Phone. If I keep pausing in the middle of the recording, it's because my phone is disconnecting. Hi, so I paused because my phone disconnected again, the microphone. So I'm using my MacBook's microphone right now. I hope you can still hear me as clearly. Okay. So, where was I? Right, so I wanted to just test this really quickly on an iPhone. See that I have the screen there. Yeah, that looks good. So what I'm going to do is commit my code and then continue. I think something changed in my scene delegate. No, that's fine. Let me go back to the scene delegate. I should have done a quick check of each file I'm committing. I normally do that before I commit code, but it's fine for now. The files aren't really big, so I'm just gonna leave them. This is not the same project, so okay. So I'll just say set up my emotions view controller in Storyboard. Commit. Okay, so now I can. So now I can go to the branch that has my second screen. What's going on? The file has been modified by another application. I'm gonna keep disk. This. Okay, I'm on this one. Right. Okay, I see. It's probably I got that message earlier because I committed a new version of this file when I changed it after I changed it, and so then it has two versions. So it's asking me which one I want to use. So this is the old one. Right. So what I want to do is kind of move the files for the screen with the suggested emotions for the LLM to the branch which I'm working on now, or the other one, which is dev. So how can I do this in an efficient way? Okay. I think the fastest way and the easiest way would be to just copy the files which I want and then create new files in my branch and paste the code that's in the files, because that would be kind of the safest approach. That wouldn't cause any like conflicts in my Git. Mind you, it's slower, but I just don't want to run into any problems. So I'll just go to my Finder. And I'm just going to pause for a second. Okay, yeah, so I'll create, I'll go to my repos, and I'll just create a new folder here called Motion Explorer files. Okay. And I'm literally just gonna paste the files, which which kind of defeats the purpose of having version control in the first place, but yeah. So I need this one. Filters. I think I already have this one, filters. Filterless. Okay. Here. I don't need this one, journal style, no header, no journal view controller. I don't need these right now. These are for an older version of one of the screens, which I wanted to have like a list of emotions that after a person tracks them, you can tap on a cell, so it presents them in kind of a historical view, and then you can add a note. But I think I'm just going to keep it as a chart moving forward, so I'm not going to include this part. Actually, I don't really need these because I'm not including a section in my table view. Let me just check this quickly. Title filter main. Yeah, I'm not gonna need these, so remove them. Okay, I think these are all the files I need for the feature that I'm about to work on. So I'm gonna switch back to my dev branch. Failed to save Xcode project. The backing file has been modified. I'm gonna say read from disk. Let me just build. And run. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So I'm just gonna add back the files which I just copied into my project. So I'm gonna stay on the same branch. I do want to copy the files to my target. I'll just add these together. And I'll add them to my source control. Okay, so now I want to go back to my Emotion Explorer view controller. And I want to set this up using the Storyboard. So I'm going to go to my Storyboard. here. And this is my second screen. So going to the project, we're on this step. So maybe I'll have like a green background. Green text. Yeah, so this is what we're working on now. So I'm just gonna put in progress. Okay. The first thing I want to do is to add a collection view behind this. I do see that I have 8 issues that have come up. I'm gonna review these in a short bit. Collection view. So you can just drag it into the screen, and I'm gonna add constraints. So I want this to be constrained to the safe area. Safe area. Safe. So I didn't add them, but I want to add 4 constraints to the top, left, bottom, and right of the screen. I want there to be 0 spacing between the edge of the collection view and the safe area. So I'll add 4 constraints. I'm going to delete my cell because I'm not using a storyboard collection view cell. And this flow layout I'm going to change to UI collection view composition layout, because this is what I'm using. I'm using a compositional layout to build this view controller. Okay. Or, you know, I might not need this at all, but let's just leave it. Okay, so I'm gonna close some of these files, keep this one open. So these two. Let me check these errors very quickly. Okay, can't find title cell. Can't find emotion explorer cell. It looks like I'm missing 2 cell classes here, title cell and emotion explorer cell. I probably forgot to copy those. So, I'll need to switch back to this branch. I'm gonna stash the changes. deselect this. Read from disk. Find my files. And go back to my dev branch. Read from disk. I'm gonna apply the stash changes. I'm gonna delete the stash after applying. Should delete it. Okay, it's gone. And I'm gonna add my 2 new files, which were missing. Let me stop building or running. Yeah, I think those errors are gone. So I'm gonna continue from here. Have my collection view, and I want to set up an outlet in my Emotion Explorer view controller, and I also need to set this class as, or this view controller to Emotion Explorer view controller. And go to the top of the file, or here. Create the outlet so I have the files open next to each other, and I hit Control, drag from the collection view to my other file. Connection is the outlet name. I'll just put Emotion Explorer Storage Week. Close this because I don't need it anymore. Okay. I'll go to view did load, and rather than instantiate a kind of collection view, programmatically, I'm gonna do it. I have the storyboard, so I don't need that property anymore. I can comment these out for now. This as well. And I'm going to use a method called viewIsAppearing. And I'm going to move the code from my viewDidLoad to viewIsAppearing. Just the reason being that Apple suggests loading any views. I'm just going to read this quickly. So it's adding views to view controller. Yeah. So this mentions update the content of your views in the viewIsAppearing method of your view controller. When the system has called this method, it's already added the view to the view hierarchy and defined the frame, bounds, margins, and sets. Content that the system adds in viewIsAppearing displays when the view is first visible on the screen. So the system calls this method only once as part of each appearance transition. So I'm just gonna, stick with the documentation and continue from there. So, to avoid any issues, the first thing we need to do is to set the layout on the view control, on the collection view. So collection view layout equals create layout. This method called create layout creates a compositional layout and returns it for each of the different sections in my screen. And before this, when I migrated the old screen, the first one, to Storyboard, I ran into a problem where my app was crashing because I didn't have this line of code there. What I did before was I created an outlet for the collection view layout, compositional layout, which is was the flow layout before, to my file, and I set the layout to this property, but this didn't work using Storyboard. You'd need to do it programmatically like this to get it to work. Or at least that's what works. Like in my project, that's how I got it to work. Yeah. So I just want to set some properties on the collection view. Layout, scroll direction. I don't want to show any of these indicators. Yep. Collection view, cell size. Okay. Okay, let me build and run. Build failed. Cannot convert value of type UI collection view index path. Returns void to expected argument type UI collection view. Oh, we need to update this here. Yeah, I mentioned that I'm not using these cells anymore in my layout, so I'm going to delete these. Build. I don't need this either. Let me go to my item type. Filter item type. I don't have this anymore, so I'm gonna remove that. This. I'm just updating all the paths that use one of the cells I was using before in this collection view, which I know I don't need anymore. So quick filters. There should be no quick filters, so we need to remove this as well. And this. filters. Can remove this. Possibly the whole thing. This reduces to just one line. Yeah, so I'm just removing all of the paths that contain quick filters. So removing all of these methods. Including this. Maybe I don't need this. A few more paths I need to clean up. Quick filters. I'm gonna add this to my source control. Okay, let's build now. And run. So we're on the second screen, which had an icon of a image which is no longer there. I had an asset called LLM Sparkles. which is in a folder called this one. Yeah, so basically I had some assets in my assets folder, some of the icons which I deleted when I removed this new screen I'm working on now, and I'm just adding back the asset. So I'm gonna rerun. Yeah, this is working. Like the screen is there. This section isn't really loading. Yeah, so the first thing I need to do is... Actually, I want to take a break right now, so I'll come back to this after. Hi again. So, yeah, so I left off here. The emotions aren't actually loading, they need to be loading here in the screen. Let me start with the header, because I need to take care of that. Or actually, I think this is its own section in the layout. Yeah, let me check how this is being set up. So I'm inside my view controller, inside the collection view. Oh, so this is in a title cell, which is here. So I have a title label and an action button. Okay, I see. Mind you, I did set this up using Claude code. For this specific screen, I asked it to actually create the compositional layout. And at the time, the way it did it, I think it put this title cell, which I was happy to accept, but there are some issues which need fixing. So the first thing is, okay, content view 16, we need this to be 0. Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have closed that because I needed to check the header. Let me pause very quickly because it's very windy. I just need to close the window. Right. So back here. So I want the header to not be like, I don't want it to have any padding in this case. I see that the space on the left is gone, but I want to remove the padding. So I'll go to my view controller and go to my, sorry, this one. There should be a create layout section. The create title section. Alright, sorry, so it's not a header. I keep thinking that it's a header because in my mind that's the way I would have set it up if I like coded this from scratch, but because I used an LLM to make this, I'm getting a bit confused. So that space here above the label and the button, I need to find out where that's coming from. So we have a create title section. So I have a create layout method, which I'm using a section provider to create each section. So and I have 3 separate sections: title, filter, and main. So the title section is the one where we see the title with the continue button. So for the create title section, I have an item size, which is a fractional width of 1, height dimension estimated 60. Item is layout size, item size, group size, fractional width 1, estimated 60, group layout size of items. Okay. I want to keep these the way they are because I want the both the item and the group to take up the whole width of the screen. And I want the height to be estimated because I want the section to self-size. Okay, section. Okay, so I'm going to remove these values from my content insets and go back here. Yeah, I do want some padding between the section and the edge of the screen. Okay. I do have an issue here where if this label size increases, let's say if a person changes these, the size of the font on their device, will this then compete for space with this button, which needs to always be displayed? And how do we deal with this possible conflict? So we need to examine how the constraints are set up between the title and the button. So I noticed that the button has a width anchor, which is greater than or equal to 80 constant. So I'm wondering if when I increase the size of the type, if that will, if the button will keep this width there, which is what we want. So before I change anything there, I'm just gonna go back to my filter, no, Explorer View Controller, and see if the padding has been removed from the top, bottom. Probably should have taken a screenshot of the screen before to compare, but let's put these back here and rerun. Yeah, okay, so I do see a padding above the section and below, so I'll go back and remove this top bottom value. The top is gone. I do still see some space between this title section and the section with these filters. So what these filters are, they're kind of filters that I'm going to show in a bit. They're filters used to kind of filter down the list of emotions that the LLM generates, and they include specific categories like your life area, or your how your body feels, or how your mind or thoughts are in the moment. And those are used as input to the LLM to generate the list of emotions. Right, so this, I was wondering what the frame for that is. Should be the title cell. Yeah, I think it is. Constraints. So the encapsulated layout height is 60.67. I do see some, when I click this, I see two constraints popping up here. Maybe they're the label top and label bottom. So this is probably calculating the height of the label and then adding the top and bottom constraints to determine the height of the cell, which I don't necessarily want it to look this way. I'll quickly try to put, get a sense of the spacing I need in Figma. Apologies for the mess I have in Figma, but I was learning how to use it, and I just have all of these screens here. Let's try this. Okay. I can add a, or no, where was I? Where's my screen? Right. Can add a status bar to my screen. I'm just gonna so sorry, my desktop is full of like screenshots, but I'm gonna find this and put it back here. Okay, actually I think I have a screen for this somewhere. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I forgot that I made this. So I'm gonna go here and delete these. Yep. This is the Lloyd's. Is it Lloyd's or Lloyd banking app, which I just had some screenshots for inspiration. Yeah, so so I have my title and I have my button, and the button between the I have a navigation bar here, which maybe I need to include the navigation bar first. So I need to, add the navigation bar and have the button be 12.5 points away from the bottom of the navigation bar. This needs adjusting. Probably need to adjust this title. Yeah. Probably need to remove these tab bars because I designed some new ones with some custom icons here. And so I can copy and paste. copy and paste. Yep. So let's go and add the navigation bar. So I'm gonna go back to my storyboard. Just want to check how I'm doing on time. So it's almost 7. I think I said I was gonna stop at 8, right? Here. 8 p.m. finish, so I have about an hour left. Okay, let's try to get as much done as possible. So back here, for this screen, I'm gonna have a navigation controller, right? Yep. So this is my navigation controller. I'm gonna delete the root view controller and going to set up a connection from the navigation controller to my Emotion Explorer. So I control click this icon and I drag and I move the cursor here and I release. So I'm going to select root view controller. And then I'm going to first remove this relationship view. So we're gonna need to basically move the tab from this to this screen. I think that's how it works. First, I'm gonna remove this relationship and I'm gonna add a tab bar item here. This is gonna be it's gonna have no title, and the image will be my Explore icon, and going to option or control click from there to here and select a view controller relationship. So this appears as one of the tabs now, and I'm gonna reorder them. So this is the second tab, and this should have no title. Here. Wondering if I can delete this. No. Size, identity. I don't want it to be translucent. Yep. So this is my root view controller. I think I mentioned that I need to remove this tab. And I'm gonna build and rerun, see if this setup was good. Yep. So I'm happy that the tab is still there. Interesting that when I click and hold, I see this icon kind of pop up there, which I've not seen before. I don't know why it's doing that. But yeah, so I have this kind of sliding behind the tab bar or the navigation bar. I constantly confuse the two names of the tab bar, which is this bottom one, and the navigation bar, which is this one. Okay, and if we go to our view debugger, so I mentioned that I want this button to have 12 points from the top. So what I'm gonna do is go to my, so I'm gonna need to, how do I show this? Here. This is the title cell. Constraints, right? Title cell constraints. Height. So I'm gonna delete these two constraints, the top, bottom for the label, and I'm gonna keep this one because I need this to be always there. Or hold on, let me check my Figma file. So this is 26 points away from here. This is 12 from there. So for this to be 26, I need to figure out how much spacing I have for the section, and then for the constraint, remove these two constraints here and add one for the button, or two, maybe top and bottom. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to my Emotion Explorer view controller. So the sections, content, and sets trailing are 16. And again, this is 26. So I need 10 for the buttons right constraint. Which right now the for the button, trailing anchor 12. And I said I would remove the two top and bottom for the label, and so yeah, so remove these two constraints and add two new ones for the button. And I should probably rename this to title section, so make it just clearer. So I removed the two constraints, and then I need to add two additional constraints. Top anchor constraint equal to content view dot top constant 12 and bottom equal to content view bottom. I think this should be -12. And this is my trailing anchor. Okay, and I'm not gonna have an center Y anchor for the button to the label. Instead, I'm going to have a, well, is that the same thing? Center Y equal to, just so it's clearer that it's the title that I want to be centered, I'm gonna do this constraint. I'm gonna have the button top, button bottom, trailing, height, and width. What about the height and the width of this? Should be (90 by 40). Okay. Oh, because I changed the name of the title cell, I need to change that here. Build and run. Let's see what this looks like right now. Go to title section. Yeah, so my height is 60, the height of this view is 64. It looks like it is adding the height of the button with the height, with the constraints top and bottom for the button. I'm not sure if changing the constraints for the button did anything. But let me focus on the header or the section first. Here. This is 12, yeah. So this looks good. Right, a button. Button height 40. Button width 73. And this says it's equal to 73 or the content size. When I tried setting it to 90, this is setting to the content size of 73. Let's see why. So the size of this should be really 17 for the font. Wait, I'm looking at the button. So this should be 17. So I need to add a line of code. That's the font on the button. Weight is regular. This really shouldn't have a border. This my button has a color of gray, a system gray 5 color, and the title has this RGB color. Okay. So the first thing I need to do is set action button dot background color is system gray 5, and then I need to change the title color to this. I think I had like a bunch of gray color swatches, which I think this is 3, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm just gonna have a struct here called gray colors. And I'm gonna have do this static let gray 1 is UI color. Let's just use the one we're using now, which is gray 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll just add these as I go on. Display red, right? This should be 60, 59. So I'll have a gray colors dot 24. So I have the background color, the title color, I should probably have a different color for when it's actually selected. Yeah, I'll just leave it like that. Corner radius. This should be 20. Yep. And I mentioned that the width is sizing to the content size rather than a specific width. Let's see. Button is UI button. So why is UI button not sizing width according to constraint? So this guy is trying to create a button with a 300 pixel width, 200 pixel height. Okay. He has a frame. And this is his actual result. So because he's setting translates auto resizing mask into constraints as false, UIKit is going to ignore the size he's using in his frame. You're mixing legacy frame without a way out. So your code would be, this guy is suggesting adding a width anchor equal to constant. Let me try to change this to equal to MIG and see if that fixes it. No. My button is completely gone. Why? I don't know. Is it still in the view hierarchy? No. Oh. Sorry. So I need to go here. Right. Oh, button is there. Yeah, these titles are the same. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? Okay. Continue. Right. Just looking for the view. Button width. There's two constraints. Button width is 69 content size and 90. Which one? I'm not sure. Which one is active? Which one is taking precedence over the other? I don't know. It looks to be like this size. And here it's looks about the same. I mean, I think that looks fine. Okay. Filters. Okay, what I should really be doing with, so we're going to move on to the next section, which is the filters section. Make sure that, you know, it looks the way it should look here. So, motion filters view controller. Sorry, this one. So I mentioned that I have 3 sections. The one that I need is this one right here. Should probably remove all of this code. I think I was trying a bunch of different iterations. Using Claude Code, and I just need this one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all of my filters. So this needs to be a private var, or I don't need the private, which is just going to be an array of I mean, really what I should have is like an enumeration of my filters, which should be like case how do I do this? So maybe so I mentioned that I had some categories for the filters, which are case, so your life area, which is your family, health. They're all kind of listed here. Work, family, health, social. I have these different ones for your kind of how your body feels. So I have like energetic, tired, restless. Heavy, calm, tense. Light, racing. There's actually more of these. I have like 3 categories. This was a different design. for this kind of filters. And I actually should have them coded in my filters view controller somewhere. Right. And I'm just gonna grab these sort of strings and continue reading from here. So case, focus, case, confused, overthinking, blank, head. So these neck, throat ones, these are for body location, like where you feel the emotion in your body at the moment. And so legs and the whole body. Okay. So filters should be an array of filters. Empty array of filters. And yeah, the layout. So title section, filter section. I really should rename this to create header section. It's more of a header than a title. Oops. Create header section. Create header section. And probably rename this to header section cell. What's going on here? Select filter items, item.filter, item name, select filters, filters.map, 0, I should, probably have a, so my filters, right, here, filter, array of filters, I should probably just define this raw type as string, and then have a raw value here. Great. Then create header section. Apologies, this file is so long. I need to refactor this file, which I will do. Create header section. Yeah, I think once I'm done with fixing this layout, I'll try and break this file up. So I think what I said was that I needed to move one of the select filters was previously one of these buttons, but now I just want it to be like on its own row. So I'll try to add it as a header to the section. Okay, so let header equals. This is really useful. It's filling in the type name, width, estimated. So I'm gonna have an estimated width and height because I want the header to resize according to the title that's in the cell. Before I do that, I wonder if there's a way that I could add the header using Storyboard. So boundary, usable, function usable view. Add it here. Right, UI collection usable view, and let's just try to add a title or label. There. I'm not going to add any constraints right now to the label, but I want to make sure that I can somehow connect this header to the section I'm working on, which we'll need to figure out how to do that. Okay, class. So this has an identifier and a class. Collection reusable view. Right, so let me create an outlet from this header to my file here, and control click drag header connect. Yep, close this. So how do I connect this to my section? I'm gonna just try to do like a few things. So I'm gonna have my header equal to this. I'm gonna add this back. Estimated, okay. So I'm gonna have let me just check the types. Yeah, initializer. I'm going to use this one instead. Not this one, because I want to specify what element kind it is. So NS collection layout size, estimated 60, was it? Estimated 60, element kind, header, element kind, alignment. Let's have a leading alignment. Okay, then let's have a section dot boundary supplementary items equal to the header. Then let's go to my configure data source method, and let's create a new header registration for the filters section. So, well, actually, we don't want the registration itself, just register new header, because we're hypothesizing that Storyboard will register the header for us. And how do I know that? It's because I was reading an article yesterday about how to add a header to a composition layout using Storyboard, and the author was saying that you don't need to actually create a registration for the header. You need to just connect it to the data source, like configure your data source method to return a header okay, so data source dot supplementary view provider equals collection view kind index path in. If kind is collection view dot element kind section header, no. We need to specify that this header belongs to our section. So how do we do that? Section identifier type, item identifier type. So I was gonna have a look at this supplementary view provider. So type alias and is a closure. So this says that the index path that specifies the location of the supplementary view and the collection view. How can we use this to define like the section we want the header to belong to? So I'll try to return a collection view dot dq configured reuse reusable supplementary using header registration. Maybe we need this one, because this one has a reuse identifier and an index path. So I mentioned that we probably need to specify the section, but since we added the boundary supplementary item to the headers, to the section here, for this section, for the header section, which is returned in the create layout method, then I think we should be good. So I'm going to go back to the data source and configure data source here. Here. I just need to specify the reuse identifier. So I'm gonna go to the storyboard and select my header and add a reuse identifier. So I'm gonna say filter header ID without the quotes. Okay. Filter header, so I just copied it and pasted it. I think if I run this now, I should be able to see this header appear. I'm just gonna have a text here, and this is I'm just gonna say header. The filter header. See some issues. The header view outlet from the Motion Explorer View Controller is invalid. Outlets cannot be connected to repeating content. I'm not sure what this error means. I've never seen this before. Let's go to the outlet here. I'm just going to remove this. Go to my main storyboard, header view, right click. I'm going to remove hold on. This is connected to Explore Scene. So maybe I don't need to create an outlet again because it's already in there. So I'm going to build it's invalid. Kind of getting the same error. What if I delete this and just rebuild? Okay. Again, I think maybe because I had the outlet, I actually needed to remove it from this view as well. So I'm gonna run. Go here. Crash. Why? Could not dequeue a view of kind header element kind with identifier filter header ID. Must register a nib or a class for the identifier or connect a prototype cell in Storyboard. Must register a nib or a class for this identifier. I thought I had the which I do. So what's the problem? Could not DQ view of kind header element kind with identifier masters. Let me Google this. I'm not sure what's the issue. So could not DQ. Close this. Let me format this a bit better. Could not DQ view of kind and element kind. Must register a neighbor class. Okay. Let's go here. UI table view controller is causing a crash with the following error. So this error, unable to DQ a cell with cell identifier cell, must register neighbors class for the identifier or connect to prototype cell in Storyboard. Understand that I need to register a neighbor class. I didn't understand where or how. You can register a class for your table view cell like this. Make sure there's view did load like this. Have you set the table cell identifier to cell in your storyboard? Or have you set the class for the UI table view controller to your class in that scene? Says forgot to set the class for my view controller in the scene things. We do have the class for the scene set up correctly here, Emotion Explorer View Controller. But this has a collection view with a reusable view. But this, like, we need to register the cell. So use ID. This guy says we just need to clean. Okay, good. We have this in the attributes, right? I want to make sure this here, attributes. Yep, collection reasonable view. So can we try to maybe register the cell? So let header registration collection view about supplementary registration. Element kind handler supplementary nib. So could not dequeue a view of kind header element kind with identifier filter header ID. Must register a nib or a class for the identifier or connect a prototype cell in a storyboard. Can this possibly work? So if I do emotions explorer, right? Emotion explorer view, register cell class. Yeah, here's an view. This. Build. Run. This did not work. Could not dequeue view of kind header element kind with identifier filter header ID. Must register as never class for connector prototype cell in a storyboard. Let me just check this quickly. What if I can I try this filter or sorry, header element kind. No. Probably needs to be section header element kind. No, I just got the same error. Could not dequeue view of kind header element kind. Must register a number class and connect a prototype cell in storyboard. I'm gonna paste this in here and put compositional layout, non-dequeue view of kind header. Collection view, register reusable view for supplementary view of kind, section reuse identifier. Okay, view elements of view, create layout, header, and then code. In your code, you specified header as the element kind. When creating the NS collection layout boundary supplementary item. Where exactly is he doing this? Here. Header. Yeah. Okay, but in your collection view method, you're using header use identifier. So value should match. But in the header view, yeah, these shouldn't really match. This isn't correct. This should be, however, this needs to be different. What are the header let me go here. Let's say, what are the supplementary view element kind names or composition layout? No. Stop. So no, I meant the element kind names when registering boundary supplementary views and compositional layout in UIKit, not Swift UI. This froze. Okay, section headers. So sometimes Claude doesn't really get the context very well. And I did say strings here, kind names, but it's giving me this like enum or whatever it is. Which I don't need. I meant the section element names strings. No, I don't think this is right. Compositional layout. Here. Did they rename these? So this is what the value I'm looking for. Header, footer size, header. So, which is interesting because I'm actually using header element kind here. Or in my other filters, view emotions, view controller, section header element kind. This one works. So I'll copy this and paste it here. header, and then go to configure data source, and I'll section header, use header ID, kind, so section header element kind, and try this. I think this worked. So there was a problem with the actual name of the string for the supplementary view. Let me close Claude. Thanks. It wasn't really helpful, but okay. So section header element kind, filter header ID, section header element kind. Okay, so after both adding the identifier to the identifier field in Storyboard for in the attributes for the collection reusable view, and 2, we needed to register the reusable view with the collection view. 3, we needed to make sure we're using the correct string key for specifying what supplementary view kind we're using in both the register method and the dequeuing supplementary view method. And 4, we also need to make sure that we're creating header section. We're also adding the section boundary supplementary items array. We're adding the header here to the array here. Okay, so these 4 things we need to keep in mind when configuring a header using Storyboard. So back here, why is there so much space between them? Let me check the time. It's actually 8 sharp. So I'm gonna stop here because I said I would finish recording at 8 p.m. And yeah, so thank you, and stay tuned. I think have a good weekend. It's Friday night. I think I will pick up again on Monday morning. Bye.